All right, yes, you can hear me okay. And I'm not going to make this too long a session today. I think we can do this one quite quickly, but we can cover some interesting things so that you can optimize your Chrome store pages really quickly and really easily. I don't need to make it more complicated than what it really is because it's such a simple process. So just let me know that you can hear me okay, and we can go through this. And I'll show you other things as well as the core stuff that I've been building in the background as well. Let's see if we've got Keith. Are you here? Keith? I think there's only two of us. Let me check the link for this and I will share it in the Facebook group in case anybody's there. All right, I'm getting the sound good again. It's strange. I'm not quite sure why, because I'm using the microphone. It's just the same as I always use. All right, anyway, if need be, I will record this in shorter videos again. I actually like the shorter videos better because they are more precise and just less chance of wandering off into different things, different questions or different topics that might come up in a webinar. But the webinars are kind of important so that we can do sort of Q&A sessions and stuff like that. But what I want to do is maybe explore the possibility of doing sort of Q&A sessions within Facebook. I think in Facebook group we can even do like live sessions in there that we can just set up maybe on a Wednesday night at 7 p.m. or something like that and just do something in the Facebook group. I've got a feeling that will work better for some reason. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to cover is the Chrome store on page SEO. Okay, so it's not difficult. I've looked at this multiple times before and I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, we can make this more complicated than what it is, but it doesn't have to be. You can go over to Fiverr.com, for example, and go and hire someone that does some optimization using tools like Surfer SEO. It will cost you $5 and sure, it will work. You will get some good results from it and he will give you a whole bunch more keywords. And that is great if you're in a very, very competitive kind of niche. But for most of the time, all you need to do is what I'm going to show you today. It's just simple stuff. And you've probably seen me show it before. It doesn't have to be more complicated. Okay, the other thing is the color spaces. I've kind of taken it a little bit further, but not hugely, but still finding one or two things that we can use so that we can create these spaces, make them work for us, be able to get our own questions and answers in here, put other people's stuff in here as well. And then what we will do eventually is we'll start to reach out to other people using the Cora social network. It is a social network for these particular topics, and then we can invite them to be contributors and you know, comment and answer, etc., within our own Cora spaces in here. Okay. I think this is not going to be really fast traffic from Cora by doing the spaces, but I think it's important to do the spaces because you've got less chance of having anything deleted and you've got more control when you're in here. Obviously, you've got that audience in there, and if you can grow your audience in here, you can reach those people very, very quickly and very, very easily, just by having some calls to action when people actually go in there. So I'm just going to my main section in here. What you can see here is I've got this getting started area here, and it tells you to invite followers, etc. I've ignored most of that for now. All I've done so far is I've created this initial pinned post. Okay, this initial pinned post is what people will see. And with this initial pinned post, let me just refresh this because I had added the link to my YouTube SEO checklist because it's important that we basically get people. Yeah, here we are. we get people to give us an email address at least, so we give them something straight away. So this is really specific, being YouTube SEO tools. The thing is with these, if they're not going to be that hard to manage, then you can do a whole bunch of these. Okay, so you can have like YouTube SEO tools and WordPress SEO tools and stuff like that. You can just go around the houses with the sort of subtopics that you can use in different audiences that you can target that really come under the broad umbrella, like search engine optimization or whatever niche it is. You will find some similarities that you can use. Okay, so this is easy stuff. Here's what you can do here. You can go to this suggestions. Okay, when you're in the suggestions, you will see that Quora actually suggests the questions that you can put in, and you can see here share to space. Okay, what is the best way to promote YouTube videos? And you've got the share to space. Now I don't want to pull this one in because it's a horrible picture up here. Let's see if we can find a better one. So it'll just make that first impression not nice because there's a cat fighting something. Best keyword research tool for YouTube. Okay, so what I can do with this is I can click on here, share to space. When I do that, you can see I can add a comment in here. And so I can put in something like, okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm putting here, great question. This is a popular topic about YouTube SEO. And although most answers will center around tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ, just put a comment in here. You can also check out some recommendations in the YouTube SEO checklist. So all I do then is I have this document here that I just keep next to me. Okay, so what I find when doing this, it's better to have something that you've got some answers sort of pre-written out that you can just pull on and pull information from. And you have some links in here, so as you're going through the answers, you've got everything just basically there ready for using. And you can see here I've gone over the character count. Okay, so I can just cut this down. There we go. And we can share it. That basically pulls that question with my answer into my Quora space. Okay, so if I go into the main again in here, you will see that these are the ones that I've answered so far. Just click on this. There we go. That one is here now. You just got to refresh the page. Okay, so that's basically the sort of quick and easy tips that I can share with you for the Quora spaces. I'm still getting used to it myself. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But for now, it's just a good way to get started so that you can start to pull this in. Now, being able to pull in other people's questions and use them as sharing allows you to build up content really fast within your space. Okay, really fast. And you can do this as well from, you know, a wide variety of people who are using Quora a lot, so that you start to get their attention as well, and they will start to keep an eye on what you're doing because you're sharing their content. So obviously you're just kind of forcing them to look, etc. So nothing groundbreaking here, it's just common sense stuff, but it's good to know what we can do. And you can also make money in these Quora spaces as well, which I haven't looked into yet. I'm more interested in the traffic and getting people onto the email list, because that's where the real money is for me. But that might be worth, you know, really digging into a little bit later, but not right now. Okay. So anyway, the other thing to do as well is the answers. Actually, let me, just before I go into the on-page SEO stuff. Okay, so the answers that I've done. It's got questions for me. Okay, so if you click up here where it's got the answers, okay, so this is recommended questions from Quora. Now, what I would suggest you do anytime you're looking at this is you click through on these, okay, and have a look and see any information you can find about, you know, likely popularity about that question. You can see here it's only got one person following. Okay, so it's not really something that's going to drive a whole bunch of traffic. You're better to do the YouTube ad campaign set up just for this, just for the purpose of getting some numbers as far as like how many weekly views, etc. But I did watch a video from a guy who's done very well with doing the answers by only answering the questions that Quora suggested to him. But he was going in and checking to see how many followers and that kind of stuff, the information that he could find that was available. So that's the other thing that you can do. And what I've done as well, if I got into my, so I don't have any messages. Okay. I'm just going to the home. I answered a couple of questions this morning, but I can't see where I answered them from. It's not showing me yet. Anyway, the only thing I wanted to show there was like when I answered it, I gave them not a huge long answer. Okay, I think some of the answers in here are very good. They're almost like blog posts, but I don't think they needed to be that long. I did like 1 or 2 paragraphs and a link to go and get a checklist. So I put a link for the YouTube advertising checklist, and I put another one for the YouTube SEO checklist. So each time, just a couple of paragraphs answering the questions that fitted those particular tools or those particular checklists. And I said to them, like, this is a great answer. And a lot of information here I agree with. And I've actually covered it within my YouTube SEO checklist or my YouTube advertising checklist that gets penny clicks, for example. And basically, here's the link, and just left it like that. So they haven't been deleted. So that's, you know, something I need to watch for, but I think that's going to be the easiest and best way for us to be able to do that. What you can do then at that point is you can pull that question into your space as well. Okay, you can pull that question into your space as well, so that you've got that in there already with your answer. So you can actually do that little intro thing that I just showed you there. Plus you can have the answer in there as well. That gives you a couple of places where you can sort of manipulate a little bit more within your own space. Okay, so anyway, that's the Quora stuff. That I haven't got anything more with that yet. I think it's good enough what we're doing there, but what we are doing there as well is embedding the videos. Okay, so by embedding the videos, hopefully we're going to get an increase of the video views with that. Now, what I did is I used the blind bullet video. It's not the best blind bullet video. It's the first one that we did, but we'll see how it goes. And hopefully, because it's like 1 minute long, it's like 50, I think it's 56 or 58 seconds or something like that. Hopefully we'll have a reasonably good retention time just because of the kinetic animated text format of that video, so that if we have reasonable retention time, even though it's not going to be massive watch time, it should be able to hold its own with the rankings if we start to send more traffic via YouTube ads, for example, that starts to rank it, because that will increase the watch time a lot just because of YouTube ads. But it should be able to hold its own at that point, even though it's not a long video. Ideally, for these kind of videos that you want to rank, you want about 4 to 10 minutes is good. I think, in my personal opinion. You will find other people who say like 20 minutes and stuff like that. I find that the longer the video, people just drop off. If you can make it like 4 minutes or 6 minutes, it's perfect. And it's really hard to do if you've got an sort of not intensive, but if you're just giving an answer that requires you to explain maybe 4 or 5 different things for something to happen, like a strategy, a marketing strategy, like I did, for example, it's kind of hard to do in 4 or 6 minutes. Sometimes, because it's over the shoulder, it's going to take 12, 15, 16 minutes or something like that. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. But if you can keep that down to 4 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that, chances are you will get a reasonably good watch time, and at the same time you will have a high retention rate, okay, because the video is not too long. People don't mind to commit to 4 minutes or 6 minutes, but sometimes even when I do my bike run in the morning, I sort the videos by the length so that I can get through as many as possible by the time I come back. I don't want the 20-minute videos. They actually hold me back. And what I also do as well is I put the speed at 1.5 as well, so I can get through even more. By the time I come back from the bike, I've got a whole bunch of ideas and a whole bunch of sort of nuggets that you pick up in my head then by that point. So the shorter the videos and the more information that I can consume without it being a sort of long drawn out tutorial over one thing, the more I can learn. Okay, that's what I find personally. I think that will be the same for most people who are trying to pick up some information and get solutions, especially if it's marketing and stuff, which is what I do because I want to do affiliate marketing. Okay, I build a list so I can do affiliate marketing. So for me, the more I can consume, the more ideas I can get that I can basically act upon, tweak, improve, whatever, then the better for me. So I'm saying that better for everybody else as well. So 46 minutes I would say is good for me to increase watch time and retention time. And it's not going to be too difficult to do if you can just cram enough information in there at that point. Okay. So anyway, let's come over to the on-page SEO. Okay, here's what we're going to show you what we've actually done already. Okay, let me show you that first. Okay, so I've got this YouTube ads checklist. I'm going to start with this one. And the reason I'm going to start with this one is because there's 2 different kinds of checklists in my mind. Okay, we've got checklists that we want to drive traffic. Okay, checklists we want to get rankings for. Checklists that I think is going to be really popular. And then we've got other checklists that we can go away that are just basically for that audience that you've pulled in, so you can nurture, so that you can add some value to them. Okay, so those don't need to be very, very long. Now, for clickbait, for marketing, but I don't want to use it. Not that I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it for this case study, okay? Partly because I'm not promoting on clickbait myself, okay? If it was like budget users, that kind of thing, I could have done that quite easy and put up some case studies and 5 or 6 strategies, and I might still do that with the different checklists. But for the clickbait one, basically, I just wanted to put them together based on what other people were doing, because I was looking at the traffic volumes that people were getting inside YouTube.com. Okay. When I saw that there's huge amounts of traffic for ClickBank, and then at the same time we were building the Bing Ads tool, which is a perfect way for doing ClickBank affiliate marketing, because you can direct link to the sales page from Bing Ads, from Microsoft Ads. They allow you to do that, but I haven't done any case studies with it, so I didn't want to push something that I'm not sure about, as far as like I haven't done it. Okay, so although I've curated a checklist, it's not what I wanted to push with. So this one is better because I've done YouTube ads, okay? And this is quite easy, and we've got a tool that can go with this as well, so that I can upsell a tool. But my main goal here is to be able to get people to look at the checklist, to install the checklist, and from the checklist I can send people from there to be able to go and check out the automated version of this that they don't even need to use. The steps in here is all done for them with the LeadBlasta tool, for example. Okay, so the key thing here is this title. Okay, you probably saw this before if you've been watching my webinars over the past sort of 6 or 8 months, and that is that your title has a whole bunch of different keywords in here. So from this, for example, you can see I've got YouTube ads checklist. Okay, so let's just go and check the rankings for that. I'll click on the fat rank. Got YouTube ads checklist. We'll check the rankings, and we're number 3. Okay, now what if I take away the word checklist and I put in low CPC, okay. YouTube ads, low CPC. And we're number 5, okay. Because these keywords are in the title. That's why that's working. YouTube ads for beginners. Let's see if that one is ranking. And we're number 36. That can do with some improvement, but to be able to improve that, it's not hard to do. It's just whether it's got enough traffic for us to warrant doing that. Okay, so not everything that we see is going to be worth optimizing for, but some of it will be. Okay, so this we can change only when we upload a new zip file, this title here. Okay, so when you're actually creating your LeadBlasta first page, you need to be thinking about these keywords as well, as much as you possibly can. But you can always update it. The only thing is, because the file name is in the zip file, it's always going to show here what is in that zip file. Okay, it's not something you can edit within the Chrome store unless you edit the actual zip file information, which is done in LeadBlasta. Okay, so you need to be aware of that. So for example, when I do some keyword research in here for keyword CAG, I'm finding YouTube ads cost gets 1,300 search volume. Okay, how to advertise with YouTube 1,300. How much does YouTube ads cost? 1,000. So this YouTube ads cost and this YouTube ads cost, you can see they're very, very similar. And you can see that that would multiply into, different keyword phrases quite easily. Okay, and because that can happen quite easily, we can put in very, very closely related keywords just within a paragraph or two. We don't have to make it too difficult. So for example, you can see here, I've got this headline, how much does YouTube advertising cost? And then I've given the answer down to here, okay? And I can basically take that. Now, where did I get this from? A lot of it came from the top of my head, but I sprinkled in keywords. Firstly, I answered it with knowledge of my own experience, okay? And then basically I've just sprinkled in some keywords, and the keywords I sprinkled in, well, that came from Appsumo, okay? Because if you put in here an Appsumo, you're going to find very, very, very closely related keywords that you can take some of these and just sprinkle those. And if you make a note of them, we can come back and we can check it later, because you can, once they've been published, the update's been published, you can come back after a few days and look in the fact rank and see if you're ranking for YouTube advertising cost per view, for example, or YouTube advertising cost per click, whatever that keyword phrase is that you sprinkled into your answers, you can go and check them. Okay, obviously you want to go for the highest volume ones first, but not always that's going to be accurate. Okay, so you want to put in as many as you can just for the relevancy. So it's not always about just the traffic volume, but also the traffic volume is often not what it says in the keyword tools. You will find out if you look at the amount of views on YouTube videos compared to the keyword search volume in the keyword tools for those keywords, they don't match up. They will never match up. And because too many variables, can be variables from your thumbnail, can be variables from your title, it can be variables from those first 2 lines in your YouTube description that people see when they're looking at the search results, etc. There's lots of variables there. And also, if people are doing social shares, etc., etc., there's just a lot of variables. You can never, ever, ever get that information from a keyword tool. The only place that you can get that information is when you can see the real traffic that's already happened, as far as the views are concerned, and as far as the social sharing, etc., is concerned. Okay, so we can do our best with it, though. And I've got another one over here. Just bring this one over. This one, I've done YouTube ads cost, and again, this is just a different keyword and a different format of that keyword, because when you put into Appsumo YouTube advertising cost, it's going to give you with the keywords YouTube and the full word advertising. And if you want to get ads, you need to put in a separate search where you put in ads, the word ads. And here you just, again, you're going to take some of these keywords and you're going to sprinkle them. So here's what I've done now. If I come over here. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've got this full this whole thing full. And you'll notice in here, I've got a lot of questions in here, and I've got answers for every single question. Okay, now how did I do that? I used the tool, and I used the tool because I was being lazy. Okay, and there's a tool called QA Finder or QA Grabber. Okay, now this tool is actually kind of cool because it will go and it will find from the people also ask section of the Google search results. Okay, and when it's doing that, basically it can do it in bulk, and you can give it a whole bunch of keywords. Okay, so you can put in, for example, YouTube advertising costs, all that different kind of thing. You can put it in bulk. Okay, you just choose the folder where it's going to go. You can put these keywords in, and it will spit out the answers that it finds from those questions, and it will go deeper as well. And it will be able to pull back the questions that people have been asking around that topic that show on that page, and also the answers that come in as well. You can get this over on Black Hat World in the marketplace. They sell it in the marketplace. I think it costs about $47 or something like that. And the other one I used as well was my own Toolkit. Okay, so Toolkit, we can get some questions that pulls back the questions really, really fast. And also the related questions, it's doing exactly the same, but I didn't use this one for this one because this was needing updated at the time when I did that, and when I did those searches, it's just recently been updated, so that now works as well. And we need to improve it a little bit before we kind of release this one. So the Q&A Grabber right now is the best one to use for that purpose. And all I did is grab about 12 or 14 keywords and put them through there, and all the answers that came back, I simply put them in here. Okay, really quick and really easy. Now, the thing is, I don't want to keep them in here. I really don't want to. Okay, I just was lazy and I wanted to do something just for, test. Okay, so what we can do is we can take off a whole bunch of that, and that gives us like a fresh slate to work with. Okay, so how we optimize this is really in two different ways. Okay, so what we want to do is the ROT formula. Okay, ROT as far as results, objection time. So results could be, okay, get low cost per view YouTube ads. Even if you don't know PPC, using this checklist to drive targeted traffic today. Okay, so I'm capitalizing every single word in here because it's the first sort of paragraph. We want to make it stand out as much as we can. Okay, so I've got the ROT. Result, get low cost YouTube ads. Okay, I can make it even better, get thousands of low cost YouTube, low cost per view. Let me just put in here. Sometimes you need to just play with the formatting just so people can see it easy. It's easier for them to read. Okay, so get thousands of low cost per view YouTube ads, even if you don't know PPC, by using this step-by-step checklist. To drive targeted. Okay, let me fix my typing here. Traffic to your videos today. Okay, and that's basically the first paragraph that people say. We're giving them exactly what this is about. You're giving them the reason that you want to get them to use it. Okay, so next, when I come down here, I've just put in some stuff basically that I did from the top of my head. All of this stuff that I've done here is really just telling them from my own words, what my experience is like getting 1 cent cost per view and 2 cent cost per view, etc. I'm not even thinking about the SEO at this point. When we come down to this section down here, then I can start thinking about the SEO. Okay, this is where we can do the cherry picking, like YouTube ads cost and how to advertise with YouTube, and you know, these kind of keywords that we might want to put in. Okay, YouTube ads pricing is another keyword that we can put in there. That's another one, another sort of phrase that we can sprinkle in there. So basically, I can take my paragraph here. And just need to check it for any typos, especially if you like me, you make a lot of typos, etc. It's probably a very, very good idea to spend a few minutes before you publish. There we go, there's one. There we go. Now I can add in here YouTube advertising pricing. There we go. Okay, so I've managed to put that in. It's just sometimes it's just adding an extra sentence or something. As long as it's making sense, then we can save as a draft. Okay, now what I would do at this point, usually you would just go and publish at this point, but what I want to do is I want to go and fix two things. One is that because we've done some updates within the LeadBlasta app, there's some new features that won't show in here unless I download the latest zip file with the coding for those new features, because this version or this zip file here doesn't have those features coded into it. Okay, so there's no way that we could possibly update via the API. And secondly, I want to play around with this headline here, which is what I was doing before. When for some reason they basically took down one of mine. You see this one taken down? It's the same checklist. This has got 118 users. This one's got 164. But they took it down. I don't know why they took it down, but I was basically doing like this penny click campaigns. I wanted to make it that people could see straight away, hi, that's interesting, it's only costing a penny per click. That's a good way to increase your YouTube views. So the penny per click, and that's the other thing that we need to do with this as well, is, you know, make a list of the bullets or the benefits. So the benefits are drive laser targeted traffic, keep costs within budget, etc. Okay, so what we can do, get more YouTube views at low cost. Better value than Fiverr gigs, etc., etc. A lot of this you can just do from top of your head, like you were talking to somebody. And it doesn't always have to be about the SEO. Just make people interested, make people at this point think, this is good, this is good information, this kind of fits in with what I was thinking as well. So if you can make them think, if you can give them the information that they were thinking anyway, like how do I, what do they want to get if they're doing YouTube advertising, for example? Well, they want to get more video views, okay? They want to keep the cost down, but they don't know how to keep the cost down. So basically you're just telling them, reaffirming everything that they were looking for here, and you're promising the results, okay? You can even put a link, tell them there's a link to case studies within the checklist, okay? I've got a video there that shows you how to do it, sort of thing. And that's it, basically. All right, that's all I need to show you. That's all I need to show you. The only thing is make sure that you can put in quite a few of these within your couple of paragraphs, okay? If you can do that, what you're doing is you're just reaching more relevancy for every keyword phrase that is related. You're getting more relevancy built into your answer, okay? You're just making it more solid. You're just making it more just tighter as far as the optimization for the relevancy is concerned. The more you put in those related keywords, then there's no mistake. Google can see, I know what this is about. It's like being in a restaurant and saying to the waiter, I want this dish I was saying before, it's got beef and it had cream sauce with mushrooms and paprika, and the waiter says, oh, you're talking about beef stroganoff. This is the same kind of thing with your keyword phrases and what Google can understand. So the more you can put that recipe together, the more you're going to rank for the main keyword that you want to rank for. In this case, it's this one, YouTube advertising cost, which gets, according to this, 1,000 searches, and the other one gets 1,600 or 1,300 searches in combination. So all those relevant keywords as well, they all build up so that we can get more traffic from Google. Okay. All right, so that's basically all I've got right now. Okay. And we can use this YouTube ads checklist. We'll use this one for the case study because this one I need to build out. It's only got 118 users. I really do want to build this out because I need to have thousands of users here so that when they're going through this, they will see in here. Let's move that. I've got my banner here telling them to go to the ad. I can probably reword that better. But I've got multiple places where I tell them in here, hey, we got a software. Instead of you checking these off, why don't you just go and check out the software? But all you do is you fill in the blanks, click on start, and away you go. So at the end of the day, if they buy that software, it's only $27, I think, for the front end. That's not the point. The point is to get them into the email list as a buyer at that point. So we've converted them from free email opt-in into a buyer at that point, and buyers are worth more over time. And then you have the funnel as well. So in the funnel, there's keyword tools and YouTube placement tools, etc., etc. So you can, from that funnel there, I think we've got in total about $120, $130, $140 worth of product in that funnel. And a lot of people actually buy the whole funnel. Many people do. So it actually works out quite well for that particular YouTube strategy. And then once they have bought that, then we've got the other tools as well for the Bing advertising. So we can do that as well. So why would this be interesting for you? But well, maybe you want to promote it as an affiliate and you would get half of that money if you're making sales from it. So that's another way that you can take advantage of that, especially as these tools are not being promoted. We put it into Warrior Plus so that I could get some statistics. We got 20% or 19%. I think the last I looked was 19% conversion rate. And basically I've done that so that I could do some private promotions, but I haven't reached out to any of those affiliates. Just haven't reached out to them. And I've kind of left it too long. I feel awkward to reach out to them because I'm pretty sure I pissed a few of them off because I haven't been around for a while. And I seen that they were launching some tools, etc., and I just wasn't there to respond to them on the Skype. I just didn't go into the Skype. So I'm kind of got that feeling of dread to go and talk to them. But in the meantime, there's some good opportunities there because nobody's promoting this and it converts. It does convert. Okay. Any questions? My webinars, everybody seems quiet. I don't know why. I watch some other people's webinars and there's a lot of engagement. There's a lot of questions and stuff like that. My webinars don't seem to get so many questions. I don't know if it's me or the topic or sometimes I'm waiting for a question and nobody's answering any nobody's asking any questions. I'm wondering if the volume is working or something like that. Okay, so let me know. Okay. Right, so I don't have anything more to share right now, but here's what I want to do. Okay, going back to the idea for the Q&A sessions. Okay, so we will do the Sunday night webinars. Okay, what I want to do is try and do a Wednesday session in the Facebook group. Okay, either it will be live or we will just do some text. But if we can agree that we will meet up between a certain point, and here's the benefit of this, because it fits every time zone. Okay, so we can say, okay, like every Wednesday between say 4 p.m. Eastern time and 8 p.m. Eastern time, I will be around and I will have that page open. And that is the day when you come in and ask a whole bunch of questions, and you can see other people asking questions. Then it fits people who are living maybe in Europe or UK or some parts of Europe, etc. And it fits people who are living in America or somewhere else. Okay, at that point, we can get more people asking questions over that period of time. And if we can do like a live session and then what might be a good idea then is, taking all those questions, maybe the next day I can just make a recorded video and put it in there like a live session and do an extra Q&A session or something like that with the pre-recorded video. We've got tools. Livestream Alpha, for example, will stream even a pre-recorded video as a live session, but we can still do like a live Q&A while that's happening. So they've got multiple options, but I just want to try something different because there's not a lot of people coming into the webinars, which is understandable. I never watch webinars myself. I always wait for a replay. That's just personal preference. But the Facebook group just might encourage more people to come in, because I really want people to start building these out and start getting traffic and getting results, because it's really, really good tool. Anyway, if anybody's got any questions as well, did you all get access now to your Android version? If anybody had purchased before the Chrome extensions before we went into Appsumo, you get an upgrade to the Android version. You should all have access to them. Okay, I haven't done the training on it yet because Gunpal was still working on some things. Even up to yesterday, he was still working on some things. The push notification system he kind of rebuilt in the background. We've got a whole new sort of background coding framework being built as well. That's already been built now, and he had to change all that kind of stuff over. So I hadn't done any tutorials on the Android stuff yet, but I will get those done today now that we have got that done. But everybody should have, who purchased before Appsumo, you should have your upgrade now to the Android version. Okay, that's a free upgrade because you had paid before a lot more than $55. So you're getting the Android version for free instead of, we were going to upsell that for $197 a year, that version. But I think we can get a lot of traffic there, but there needs to be a learning curve. It's not as simple as the Chrome extensions as far as like the SEO stuff is concerned. But I saw some interesting services. Even coming into our support desk, people were saying like, you review other people's stuff and they review yours and not that kind of stuff. So somebody's been watching for new Android apps coming into the marketplace, and they're basically contacting us. We didn't go looking for them. They're basically contacting us and saying like, you can get more reviews by reviewing other people. So there's multiple options like that. Probably a bunch of Fiverr gigs do similar stuff and get someone to take care of that for you. We will look into that as well, but I haven't got far with it yet. All right, so let's leave it like that for now. I will be in the Facebook group a little bit later today. It's early morning here, so it's probably late at night wherever you are. So probably around morning or afternoon your time, I will be around in the Facebook group. If you get any questions, you can ask, and I will put this replay into the thank you page a little bit later. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks.